Hey Pisces, welcome to your reading. I'm Empress Rose. These are general readings, so take what works, leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And you're welcome to go check your other major placements as well. Is this one? Okay, we're starting with the Oracle decks, and we just got a crap ton of cards from that. I don't know how to... We'll just go through them, and then we're going to move on to a more traditional tarot spread with the Crow Tarot, which is a new deck to me. Messages have been a little intense from that deck this week. I didn't really need that, but that's what we got. Okay. All right, Pisces. Okay, we have Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty, Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. So we're talking about something you've been devoted to, you care deeply about, you've learned a lot about it already, enough to be able to be a mentor or a teacher to other people. But you're also, there's a lot for you to learn here too. There's a lot for you to learn in this situation as well. So you're being a chain in the long link of wisdom. You're both learning and teaching. You are taking in information. You have a lot to learn here. Yeah, you have a lot to learn here, but that's not to say you haven't already learned quite a bit. And it's something you're devoted to and you care deeply about. And you have a lot to offer as well too. So, and then we have adjustments are required. So there is maybe adjusted expectations or an adjustment in how you're interacting with a situation. So a key clues as to what those adjustments might be. We have worked through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. Okay, so we are headed into a new moon, or we do have this darkness. We do have a lack of clear understanding of what's going to happen ahead, but our fears are not helping. Our fears are actually hindering and could be a little bit of a problem here. So we might be being defensive about things we don't need to be defensive about. Have you ever done that before? I've totally done that. Like, heard someone say something and gotten like upset about it and then realized they were actually trying to compliment me or something, and I just was so worried or insecure that I heard it in like this way that it was not intended. So there could be a little bit of that going on of assuming the worst and being afraid. I mean, not being able to see what's coming at us is a little scary. I mean, it is sort of the nature of being alive, and it's, you know, the nature of why we enjoy tarot and why we seek out the wisdom from tarot. But assuming the worst is probably one of the worst ideas. So, you know, planning for the worst, maybe, but assuming that that's what's going to be happening, not a good idea. So working through those fears, maybe journaling them out, talking about them, putting them in a place where you can look at them more objectively rather than being swallowed alive by them and overwhelmed by the waves of that. Other ways that we might need to adjust: unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. We may need to make adjustments with how we relate to other people, how we relate to situations, patterns that the way we've done something in the past may actually no longer be useful. It was useful for a time, but maybe not a lifetime. So changing up how we're doing something, maybe even this can be a bit of a breakup card, or, you know, changing a relationship with someone or something and cutting ties with either your past self, with somebody else, or with a situation. So freeing yourself from a situation. So that might be another adjustment that to be worked with. Not assuming the worst. But also releasing yourself from some sort of expectation or some sort of prior agreement. We no longer need to honor that agreement. But your commitment, and here we have devotion in this one, your commitment to something is being tested. The vision gets clouded over. You may have an intuition of where you're going, but this vision starts getting clouded over. There are challenges here to staying focused. Storm clouds could be coming in. This could be causing these fears, triggering these fears. But stay strong, stay focused, remain devoted to the path that you are on. Now, what is that path? Defining it more broadly rather than specifically is probably a better idea, as far as like wanting a healthy relationship, a mutually supportive relationship versus a relationship with this specific person or something like that, or wanting a job where you feel supported and safe versus just wanting to earn a certain amount of money or something like that. So wanting to expand what we are devoted to, what we are committed to the healthiest realm possible. Because we can't control other people and we can't control other circumstances. So having our well-being and our goals tied to specifics can sometimes be a little bit of a problem. So your commitment, though, to something is being tested. You might be, the vision is going to be clouded. And we've got this adjustments. We've got these obstacles here to both seeing our vision and accomplishing our vision. So we have some obstacles that we're dealing with. No need to be afraid. Just there's some adjustments, okay? So then we have communication is key, new moon in Gemini, revealing something, not knowing how it's going to be received. Gemini is a air sign, so that's about communication and ideas. Communication is key. I don't think we could get more specific about that. So we may need to communicate about something. Be bold and make the first move, cardinal moon. So this isn't necessarily being brash or being rash and making sudden first moves. This can just be like, okay, you may have to say something. You may have to say something to somebody and you may not know how it's going to be received. So working through your fears. Okay, so what's worst case scenario of how it could be received? Okay, be aware of that, but don't be necessarily expecting that. So you may have to communicate and you may have to bring something up with somebody, but you don't have to do it in a disorganized or sudden fashion. You don't need to make it worse than it's already going to be. See, there I am with my worst fears, but you don't have to, it doesn't have to be sort of completely blind. You can do a little like role playing, a little like, okay, what's the worst thing? Okay, what's the best thing? How can I prepare for both of those? Sometimes we do actually fear the best thing happening. So you may have to, and it may be about changing something up, creating a new boundary or new rules to a relationship or a situation, doing something differently. Just because you've done something in the past doesn't mean you have to keep doing it that way. And there's a commitment here that you don't necessarily have to keep anymore. But then there is your commitments being tested. So there could be some sort of, we all make lots of commitments. We have commitments to our work, commitments to our loved ones. We have commitments to ourselves. We have a lot of commitments, and we may be having competing commitments here. And something's going to have to give. Something has to be let go of in order to maintain a commitment to something that's more valuable to you. That commitment to yourself is so important. And knowing and being able to trust yourself. The relationship to self is so important because we can't break it. Like we can't get away from ourselves. We can't divorce ourselves once we've found out ourselves. We've been lying to ourselves for a long time. We can't just like, oh, well, better luck with the next self I have. Like, that's not how it works. So that relationship to yourself and building trust with yourself and making sure you're keeping the promises to yourself that you've made is actually pretty key. All right, Pisces, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's the issue, your environment, to-do list, and possible outcome. That's so funny. Aquarius got the same to-do list. I love to see repeated cards in this. Because it just feels like the energy, connects us all somehow. It affects us all differently, but we still are connected with this. So in your recent past, we have Two of Wands, some very stubborn energy, maybe even a little bit of denial. There's something here that can be seen, but we're not dealing with it. Look, they're not speaking. They're not even looking at each other. They're not on speaking terms. There's maybe So how I read the two, except for the Two of Cups, the twos though, the Two of Wands, it comes after the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands is some sort of insight, some sort of inspiration, some sort of energetic understanding. And Two of Wands is the refusal of that, or the like, I refuse this information. I do not want to talk about this. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want this information. It's denial. So we can only be in denial if some part of us knows the truth. So the truth has been revealed. I always see in Two of Wands, the truth has been revealed. It's known and it's knowable. We're not ready to know it yet. We're not ready to see it yet. We're not ready to talk about it yet. And that's normal. It's a way of protecting ourselves from information we're not ready for, that our psyches couldn't handle. So this is why personal growth is so important, to be able to constantly be growing into the space where we can handle new, more information. The information that we already know, but we don't want to know. So this is denial, refusal, immobile energy. In your current situation, we have Page of Wands. Now, this could be a person, or this could be you. Page of Wands. I love Page of Wands coming after the Two of Wands. Page of Wands is, okay, I'm ready to see it now. Okay, I've got a grasp now. Now I'm willing to handle this information. Now I'm willing to deal with this energy. Now I'm willing to deal with this creativity. So the Page of Wands, it looks like you or someone you know is taking up this wand and is ready to deal with it now, is ready to interact with this wand, is ready to understand what exactly this is. Okay, I've been pretending not to see something. Now I'm starting to see. Now I'm starting to grasp. Now I'm starting to learn. What is this thing? What am I seeing? What am I feeling? What is this inspiration or this intuition? What's going on here? And there's a sense of exploration. This Page of Wands wants to talk about it. This Page of Wands is ready to go, ready to talk. We've already got communication is key, opening up about something. This Page of Wands is ready to open up about some sort of intuition, is ready to see. This is beautiful energy. This is coming out of denial, coming out of refusal, coming out of and turning around. This is an about face where somebody here is, and it could be you or somebody else. This is an about face. This is somebody who's ready to turn around and face it, right? It's like working through your fears. It's like facing your fears. It's like, you know how to deal with a nightmare where you're being chased, is you turn around and you face the thing that you're chasing. And that's how you can stop the nightmare about being chased. You have to be somewhat cognizant of that. But this is something someone's been in denial about, and now there's a flip, and they're ready to look at it, and they're ready to understand it, and they're ready to see it with clarity. They've grown and they've developed the inner resources to be able to deal with whatever this energy was, whatever this intuition was, whatever this knowledge was. They're ready to deal with it, to get a grasp on it, to learn all about it, to figure it out. They're ready to figure it out, and they're ready to talk about it, because we're seeing communication is key. Something about talking about this that's really important here. So somebody is ready to talk about it. They've been in denial. Everybody's been in denial, or pretending this isn't happening, pretending this isn't real. Now someone's willing to talk about it. And learn about it. I mean, the page is beautiful. The page is the freshman, the wide-eyed, what on earth is this? I just love it. I just love this Page of Wands here. It's just this, okay, what is this then? If I've been pretending this isn't a thing, and now I'm like, okay, this is something, and I want to know. I want to learn. It's very beautiful. And then in your inner landscape, your hopes, your fears, we've got this Eight of Cups. We've got this like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to act on this. Okay, I'm learning all about this, and now I have to move. Eight of Cups is about, okay, that's a lot of cups, a lot of emotional fulfillment. But here again, we have this intuition here and calling you into action. And you're like, maybe I want to go back to denial. Because you don't know. You don't know if you want to take action, actually. Okay, you're seeing it. You're learning. you get it, but now you have to take like a step towards it. So it's showing up in fears, right? The fear of having to put your money where your mouth is, having to, you know, not just be all about talk, all about learning. Now you're going to have to demonstrate what you know, demonstrate what you've learned, and actually take steps, emotional steps, movement towards something that you want, which means leaving something behind. And maybe the something that you're leaving behind isn't necessarily something you don't want. It's just what is you wanted it to be satisfying. You were hoping it was satisfying. You were hoping it's enough. But now that we're having this conversation, now that this is going on, maybe you're hopeful. Maybe you're like, maybe I do get to move forward. I'm not satisfied with where I am, but maybe this is all revealing something that I do actually want, that I do actually really want to move towards. So your hopes, your fears, what you're thinking about is moving towards making a move towards something you want that you think is going to be more satisfying and fulfilling for you than where you're at right now. So movement forward, and it could be a hope, it could be a fear, it could be both. It could be, you know, adjustment, change, adjusting something in your life to be more satisfying. So you could be worried about change, and you can be hopeful for change. I find both of them are the same. Wheel of Fortune in reverse is a situation, things outside of your control, not necessarily going the way you want them to go. A little bit of bad luck. There's been a little bit of bad luck here. I love this Wheel of Fortune. This is actually one of the cards that made me really enjoy this deck and want to work with it. Is this the sense of the gears shifting externally? So this could be gears just not shifting externally. It's sort of the Wheel of Fortune being stuck in a place. Things outside of your control having everything kind of stuck and jammed, the gears being jammed. So there's not a lot of movement of the externals. The externals are having difficulty moving. They're not moving. This, of course, requires the internal gears to move, because things have to be constantly moving and flowing. So if the external gear gets jammed, the internal gears have to move. We also have a sense of bad luck. I mean, the thing about the Wheel of Fortune is up and down, up and down. It's always turning. It's always turning. So we can get it in the reverse and know that the situation will change. It's changing currently. But right now it's a little bit of a bad luck situation, or a little bit of a not quite what you needed situation. Bad luck is like, it's like weeds. Like in maybe another situation, you'd feel it was good luck, but in this one, it feels like bad. Like weeds are just plants where you don't want them to be, right? And this is just a situation that's not where you want it to be. And then you have in your environment, you have temperance. Something's this is starting to feel like this is jammed. This situation, this little Wheel of Fortune and Wheel of Things moving feels a little jammed, because we have temperance here. This is patience, waiting on divine timing. There's spring that wants to come, but it's taking its time. It's taking its sweet time. This is, you know, the cosmic bartender here, the angel of time, coming in with, there's something about divine timing here. There's something about things taking the time they take and not being able to rush anything and move forward. I mean, there's really no rushing going on in this reading so far. But we're looking ahead and there might be some rushing. It's just things are taking the time they take. There's an adjustment period. Oh, I love this, because this is adjustment as well, right? And temperance to me is always an adjustment period. There's a getting used to something, getting used to maybe this idea, like we've been in denial about something for a long time. Now we're ready to explore, maybe even talk about it, learn about the situation, learn about what's actually going on, what our feelings mean. And there's this adjustment period. We're getting used to something in our environment. We're being asked to just kind of hold here and adjust and get used to some new ideas. But that's where we've been. But your energy, where you're going, where you're headed, what your greatest growth is couldn't be more predicted here. Knight of Swords. Communication is key, and be bold and make the first move. Knight of Swords here. We've got communication. movement, charging forward, clarity, clear understanding. We go from a Page of Wands of somebody here really starting to wake up and smell the coffee here, as we used to say in the 80s. Someone waking up and smelling the coffee, becoming aware of something they've been in denial about for a really long time. And then we have your to-do list, Knight of Swords, coming in with clear, quick communication, clearing some things up, clearing the air. The knight, you know, he's usually going to be in armor, because it's not the safest job in the world. So don't expect a lot of safety here. Definitely work through your fears, prepare, right? We were saying prepare for the worst. I mean, don't like sit there believing only the worst, but prepare for it. Put on your armor. This is not a problem. And head in to charge forward, move forward, leap forward with some sort of communication here. It's quick, it's swift. So you haven't had an opening, but as this turns, you may find an opening. So yeah, we're not, with these to-do lists, it's not like put it on and check it off whether you feel like it or not. It's more like look for the opportunity. Look for an opening. Look for a possible way in here to do this. It's not necessarily that, you know, well, Empress Rose said I had to say something, so whether the time is right or not. I mean, you've been waiting though. You've been waiting for the time to be right for a long time. And it's just, this is saying like you do have to, I don't know, normally I'm like, wait for the time, but don't force yourself to do anything. Because there's a lot of needing to be inspired here with the wands. Anyway, where you're headed, possible outcome, judgment, review of the past, possibly even some apologies here for if we review the past and we don't like what we did, then we get to apologize, or we get to change something. We get to review and review the past, and we might change something. We might shift something. We might want to do something different. But this is an opportunity to look at the past with a healing eye, with an eye for healing. So something coming back, and so something might be coming back, and you need to know what you're going to say, or you need to have some kind of understanding. So judgment, something coming back from the past for reevaluation. There might be some insights also coming in from the past, things you didn't know, you weren't aware of, being revealed to you. So we're dealing with the past here. This is a common theme actually for these readings this week, has been the past coming back. Of course, it is Mercury retrograde, so we can expect a little bit of that. So coming back in for evaluation, for learning, for healing, for a second chance to do something right. A second chance to make a good first impression. So, all right. So Pisces, I hope that was helpful for you. Thanks for your likes, subscribes, and comments, and I'll see you guys when I see ya.